Thank you. Great job by Little Rock today, winning 2 games against 2 great teams, and you got to tip your hat to them. They took a lot of good at-bats throughout the day, watched the entire first game as it was transpiring, and complete performance by them. I think the game kind of speaks for itself where it got away from us, and we'll leave it here tonight, turn all of our focus to tomorrow, and find a way to play great.
As we're getting ready to open up the floor for questions for Coach Johnson, I don't know if you know, they're just making the announcement, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Evidently has been confirmed, ESPN 2, 8 p.m. tomorrow night. With that, let's open up the floor for questions for Coach Jay Johnson.
Coach, when the tide of this game started to turn, do you feel like the pressure sort of got to you guys tonight?
I think it's probably an individual question. I wouldn't say that as a team. Certainly some guys on the mound didn't perform probably the way that they want to, or maybe to the point where they're capable of, and I think you'd have to ask them individually that. I didn't sense, as Cooper said, a widespread panic or anything like that in the dugout. Credit them. They made some big pitches with runners on base, and, we gave them a lot of free bases, and then they cashed in. Took some really good at-bats with runners on base, and so they're a hot team. They've been playing well, here for the past 2 weeks. And you give a team that's playing well more opportunities, and you can put yourself in a tough spot. And I think that happened, 3 times tonight in the game, and that was the difference.
Jay, can you just talk a little bit more about those scoring opportunities that you guys just didn't capitalize on there, and those middle innings in particular? Just what did you see? What kind of went wrong and to why you guys weren't able to score in those opportunities?
Yeah, I thought they executed a few good pitches at key times. And then, again, we have a saying, trying to do too much is not a plan. And so, again, I think it's probably the guys that were in those spots, something I'll go back to them and just make sure they're locked into their process and use it as a learning experience. And that's what we try to do. And I'm confident that they can do that. They've done a good job of bouncing back after a tough game, both individually and collectively this year, and gives me great confidence about what they can do tomorrow.
Yeah, Jay, just kind of expanding on that, it may not feel like it tonight, but you're still in an advantageous position, I guess. How do you remind your team of that and try to steal some of this momentum back from a clearly hot team?
Yeah, it's a special day in their life tomorrow. I mean, after this, unless you play in the Major League World Series, you never play for a team ever again. It's an individual sport in pro baseball. And you never quite get the feelings of Game 7s unless you actually get to do it in the big leagues, and that's a very small amount of guys that actually get to do that. So opportunity, that's what it is opportunity, and I'm excited about tomorrow. And just like anybody else would have rather won tonight and wrapped it up, but we didn't, and that's because the opponent did a great job. And so I think it's just about opportunity tomorrow. Less than 24 hours ago, we probably played the cleanest and best brand of baseball that you could possibly play at this level, and that was 24 hours ago. So I'm excited to see them do that tomorrow.
Coach, was there any thought of starting Zach or Kaysen tonight?
Yeah, I mean, there was. I think Jaden had pitched well over the last 2 weeks, between South Carolina and the SEC tournament against Ole Miss, and felt like he was a good option to do that. And, there was a number of ways that we looked at it, and he had a great first inning, and not a very good second inning. And so, it's all hands on deck. So he's got to recover well, and if we need him to get an out tomorrow or two, then he's got to be ready to do that.
Yeah, Coach, kind of just piggybacking off of that, with some of the guys out of the bullpen, when it seems like they turn the corner, what's kind of preventing them from getting to that consistency completely?
It's probably a guy-by-guy question again. I don't think I'd be being fair to any of them if I answered that in a totality. I think they're people that care a lot about performing well for themselves and for this team, and those guys that took the mound tonight have all performed well for this team. And so we'll pick them up and dig in because my hope is we'll need them again, in this season for us to be successful and be where we want to be.
Last question for Coach over here in the back right.
Coach, you talked about Cooper a little bit, and he mentioned it. How big was that for him tonight? Just not for his development, but for put you in a guy's situation where you still have your two big arms ready to go.
Yeah, I think it was a really good performance. I think, you look at the stat sheet, he allowed one free base, filled up the strike zone, executed to both their left and right-handed hitters. And, hopefully it's next year, but it's why I believe he can be a starter, and he can extend. He's got good arm speed and fastball, breaking ball change, pitch to both sides of the plate, top and bottom. I have a lot of confidence in him. He's had a really good season, in the opportunities that we've given him. And there's a lot of good days for him here ahead.
All right, Coach, thank you for your time. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.